Good afternoon, everyone. I, CA Charmi Shah, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast on Leading Upward Strategies to Advance Your Leadership Journey. I also welcome today's resource person, CA Sundareshwar Rajeshwar, and all others present here. Rajeshwaran sir brings 30 plus years of experience of global leadership in governance, internal audit, risk management, and industry verticals across India, Bahrain, UAE, and Qatar. He is a chartered accountant with multiple gold certification including CISA, CFE, CFSA, CRMA, CGAP, etc. And he has successfully advised boards and C-suites on strategic governance, organization resilience, M&A due diligence, and corporate compliances. Globally recognized for his thought leadership, he is honored with Internal Audit Bitcoin Award 22 and CA Achiever Award 2017 and Toastmaster Presidential Citation 2024, alongside contributing to global research and education. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, and now the floor is all open for your deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that nice introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. I think all of you are taking time during a working day for this. And I will now start with thanking, first at the outset, let me acknowledge our chairman of the PSC committee, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, Chair Jay Chaira, then Vice Chair Abhay Chajit, and distinguished members of the committee and various others who are working on the various programs. Even this morning, when I was looking at the ICAI portal for one of the coming up programs, I found almost 50% of the program is from the same committee. So I feel really honored to get this opportunity to share my thoughts and share my expertise to members that will enrich. So, and one more thing I want to tell you, this truly speaking, there is no better moment to reflect on leadership than now. We stand at the threshold of transformation, with ICAI announcing landmark reforms that will redefine the future of chartered accountancy profession. We should really appreciate the effort of our president, Mr. Nandaji, and Vice President Prasanna Kumarji, and the whole council who has put up two major reforms to say. One is that there's a significant highlights in the introduction of the guideline through a revised advertising guideline through revised code of conduct. This bold step, according to me, opens up new possibility for Indian CA firms, enabling them to enhance their visibility, expand their reach, and compete with confidence on a global stage. Number two is there is equally historic is the council approval for ICAI global networking guidelines. This milestone, gives again a new era where we can have international partnership by way of emergence of truly big Indian firms with global footprints. I'm also honored to be serving in the committee of aggregation of CA firms, and these are the steps that will really bring it up. So what is as a chartered accountant? What we had to do? No, we had to prepare ourselves to embrace these opportunities. And the reforms are not just regulatory changes. Don't look at it as a regulatory changes which got by the government or by the council, and we are getting it as a benefit. Look at the strategic enablers that will call upon us to reimagine our role, scale our practices, contribute to India's positioning in global professional stage. Having worked abroad for 30 years, as mentioned by Charni, and also traveled to more than 50 countries, and also in the global leadership positions and thought leadership for 15 years, I know that how much we can contribute if we get that that sort of enhancing our potential and being in that space. And I think and this topic, I consciously changed it after this announcement of these new steps taken by the ICA to suit you to how you can be at par with global firms and global professionals in the same arena. So let me now share my screen and pick it up from there. Okay, it's my topic, leading upward, strategy to advance your leadership journey. That's what I was talking about. It's not better time than doing this. And let's go do it. So my agenda will be I'll briefly mention what it is. We'll begin by reflecting on what sets top leaders apart. You should always look at, a higher level, what makes the leadership apart. Second, we looking ahead. Let us explore leadership in a changing world. The world is changing. It's drastically changing with AI, data analytics, with various technological advancement. The world is changing even before you realize. It's not that we will catch up with the time, at least be at pace with the change. So then third thing is, why are leaders in short supply? This I customized it probably to the extent I knew in Indian context. No, there is a leadership short supply or probably not enough as market requires. Are you ready for leadership? So when I say why there is a shortage in leaders, we should immediately check why shortage? How can we fill the shoes of the leadership? So are you ready for leadership is a question. And I have some questions which will say you are ready, something which says you're not ready. You can check yourself. Unfortunately, I mean, we are in two different platforms. I'm not able to interact. I can't do a poll or I can't do a get your chat or something because in between us there is a huge number of people I understand is outside of. I'm speaking to myself, whereas there are many of you listening to me, but I can't interact. So what I suggest is please chat to the facilitator, who will in turn put those questions to me at the end of my presentation, and I'll try to spend about 10-15 minutes to answer your questions. Okay, so why are you ready for that? So these are two things which we'll explore, two pillars of leadership development. I'm putting these two pillars of leadership development. One is understanding the diverse leadership styles. Every one of us has a leadership style. So we should find out what is your leadership style. And also we should find, if you're working with a team, try to explore what are their leadership styles. There are methods to do that. Try to find out that. Once we know each one's leadership style, when I'll go into detail as we reach the stage, realize we reach that particular stage of talk, presentation, but it is very critical. When you work knowing each other's leadership style, you can strengthen each other's strengthen it by each other complementing for each other as a team. So ladder of leadership is also a concept where it is propagated by two well-known authorities. We'll come to how we can also find out where are you in the ladder. How can you climb up to the next level in the ladder? How can you contribute? So the leadership, then last, if your time permits, I just want to make sure that if time permits, I have some nuggets of wisdom from my own experience, what leadership excellence means and how can you be there. Okay, so this is a brief of my agenda. Now let's go to the leaders of today. I had to start with one person because I personally like many people. I don't know they like or they don't like. But I've been to Tesla factories in the US, in Fremont. I was also in Reno. I was also in Texas. Not because I went to visit the factory. I went because my son worked for Tesla for a long time, about 6 years post his master's. And he specialized in autonomous driving, and he moved from Tesla a couple of years ago to another car. And when I went to this Tesla, one thing, Elon Musk, yesterday I saw Elon Musk one snippet. He says his wealth has gone up to 600 billion as of yesterday. When I prepared the notes for the talk, it was 500 billion. But yesterday I got a news snippet, new clip, which says it's gone to 600 million. And what he says, what is he on? He's on sustainability, he's on mobility, he's on clean energy. You won't believe the core mission, which is put in the Reno's Gigafactory, outside of the Gigafactory, as you enter, you find there to accelerate world's transition to sustainable energy. That's a big thing. He's not looking to make money out of manufacturing electric cars or battery-operated cars. His vision is much more to transition the world to sustainable energy. Let's go to Bill Gates. Again, Bill Gates is very commonly seen in India these days, and he pioneered microcomputer revolution. Is from 1970 to 1980. And he's currently leads on enterprise solutions, cloud, etc. And his personal net worth is $115 billion. Of course, he contributed probably equal amount in his charity, Bill Gates Charity Foundation. And one of the things, people asked, you are one of the richest person on the earth for 5 consecutive years. Why do you want to work? Why do you want to do so much? He said his answer was very profound. He said the vision of Microsoft is computing for everyone. And we have not reached even 50% of the world. So that's a huge vision which is and his CEO Satya Nadella is our Indian origin CEO, one of the well-reputed and well-known management practitioners these days. His talks are very well received, and he writes a lot. He talks it, his management will know it all to learn it all. Transfer from know it all to learn it all. That means, you have to think in decades, but achieve in quarters. Think ahead for a decade. That means 10 years ahead, you think ahead, but achieve that in phases of quarters. Every quarter, monitor whether you are achieving. He encourages to continuously upskill yourself and adopt to changing environment. That is Satya Nadella's management. He's very successful. Of course, this you will all know Jeff Bezos of Amazon. 1994 started with just a bookstore. And he changed to e-commerce, online sales, internet, steering a global e-commerce and logistic, and now recently in space ventures also. So his philosophy, again, customer-centric, high standards in anything you do, rapid in innovation. He doesn't want to wait for an innovation to happen. He wants to drive the innovation and a mindset of continuous mindset like a startup. He said he's never settled down. He's startup all the time. That means, again, bringing innovation to all of us. But this is Larry Ellison. He's from Oracle. His current wealth is close to $400 billion. And he's known in the history as one person who singularly made $101 billion in one day. One day. That means the shares got up and all that. He takes bold risks. He's into cloud. If you're those who have used Oracle, now the cloud is there. Oracle is. He's largely into AI. He's in media also, in media contracts. So what is his leadership style? He's autocratic. That means, again, when you come to leadership style, you will know about what is autocratic. He's very competitive. He wants to achieve more. He says greatness and rewards comes only for those who are bold in taking decisions. So his mantra is boldness to take decisions. Now, this is, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, all of you know, from Meta and Facebook. and he has acumen for technology and innovations. He spent 80 billion recently for something which stand as in personal, that is climate advocacy. You know how much he got back? Only 9 billion. So he was willing to leave $71 billion for a cause, advocacy on climate. And he's also about 250 billion is his net worth. What is his mantra? Again, efficiency and rising the power of performance. He now talks about completely efficiency in performance. It's called masculine energy culture. You want to have masculine, meaning you want to have that sort of strong strength. And this Larry Page, he's a Google's co-founder, Google and Alphabet, but he prefers to be not so in the limelight, not so much in the limelight. He likes 10x thinking. He want to multiple in thinking. He want to build great thing that doesn't exist. That means he want to, if anything that is exists is not an innovation. Innovation is something which comes through him. So now, having said about all these people, let's see what is that something which you can put together. They have sincere enthusiasm, their strategic thinking and sustainability as they just don't want to build a company. They want to build based on a vision and mission and within sustainability, so that it becomes an institution, not just an organization. So look at the great communication skills. All of them has great communication skills. They built up great communication skills. They have attributes such as integrity, great charisma, decisiveness, and loyalty to the causes. So these attributes again stands out. The successful people, you look at what are the successful people's qualities, these are the ones. Then empowerment. They don't do everything themselves. In fact, some of them had even taken a back seat and kept their CEO or someone else. They become mentor for the organization and let the others do the work. And they have managerial competence. They proved the managerial competence with their own ways of doing things, which has become today a landmark or a benchmark for many of us to look at it when we aspire to be a leader. Okay, now leadership in changing world. Okay, this is a nice thing which says you can't cross the sea by standing and staring at the water. It's from Rabindranath Tagore, again from an Indian author, Indian poet, Indian Nobel laureate, I think, who is we like to quote with a lot of happiness and a lot of pride. Okay, now let's see when you talks about attributes, what happened? Care about people. This is post-COVID 2021, the attributes drastically changed. So, Warren Buffett, again, you would have heard about his name. He said, selfless generosity and honesty has become buzzwords. Selfless generosity and honesty has become the buzzword post-COVID. And you care about your people, care more about people than results. That should be the business mantra. Care more about people than results. Of course, when you care about the people give the result. Caring people is an active process. Without them, nothing could happen. So, you can't buy. I always like saying this when I am in a business with a business people in a consulting assignment. Tell them, your competitor can buy the same thing, same machineries, set up the same facilities, set up the same sort of products. But the only difference you can, as an organization, you can make is the people. They can't replicate your staff. So you care your staff, you have an asset which will be different, which cannot be replicated. They will differentiate the success or failure. Second thing, lead with empathy. This again came as post-COVID, the empathy, investing in individual contributors on the team, listening to them. I heard, one of the trips I made during post-COVID was to Sri Lanka, had the opportunity to go to the southern side of Sri Lanka or where there was tsunami affected that time. So they were saying that the tsunamis, they were sad about tsunami, but they also said that one thing they didn't find is that empathy didn't come. People didn't go and visit them, talk to them. That would have given them a lot of relief and some lot of positive energy to build the life again post tsunami, post COVID, etc. So it's important that the empathy to offer support and help is critical. Support and help, both are two different things. It is differentiable. I'll leave it to you to find out. Maybe you are Chat GPT across. You can check now itself. You find huge difference between support and help. Okay. So gain perspective rather than rain down fear or control people. This is an old school which thinks that create fear among your subordinate or among your employees, or if you are in a higher position of power, give the prayer, control people by dictating them, telling them, okay, this is not how it should be done, something of that sort. So they should be. So that's probably the old school of thought. Today we can't do that. The gain perspective meaning openness, transparency, collaboration, and focus. Openness, transparency, collaboration, and focus. That is where you can gain perspective, not by controlling them, not by raining down the fear. Foster learning environment and trust. This is critical. I always like one of the sentence which says that, today's illiterates are not those who can read and write. Today's illiterates are people who cannot relearn, unlearn, or learn new. Learn new things, relearn, sometimes unlearn. Actually, when you go into where we talked about global perspective, when you go to global perspective, you have to probably unlearn many things. You'll have to probably relearn many things because the things change in a global, in different parts of the world. So their perspective could change. So this is one important aspect, and the learning has to continue all the time. Now the competence, this is, purpose-driven. We talked about a purpose-driven vision in some of the top leaders. They build trust. That's why they sustain. If you don't believe, even there are stories of, the Amazon delivering, no matter it makes a loss in some place. They said no, they committed to deliver a product, they will deliver product, no matter the cost. They are now using drones to deliver in a high-rise building so that it will reach in time, reach when needed. So emotional cultural intelligence, which is again and extremely important for when you grow as a leader. We'll come to that when we talk about leadership style. There are leaders who gets into emotional cultural intelligence and how they compare with others. We can do that also. Agility to change, or because this is agile even is a word which has talked about lot in last 3-4 years. I know it everywhere. We talk about now agile auditing. Once I wanted to test as a head of audit in a company, large company in Middle East. I want to implement, and we decided one day work, 1 page report, and one major action point. And we tried to do that. We major audit, we cut into short and we delivered more so that the recommendation can be implemented fast and the company start getting the benefit faster. So agility in change, whatever change now AI is, we say whether AI will replace our job or the jobs will be replaced, or whether we will have how it will impact our day-to-day work as a consultant. In fact, many of us are doing like tax consulting or ESG consulting, that bread and butter, or statutory audits, or internal audit. Many of that can be to great extent. We spend something like 30 to 40% of the time in writing the report, compiling the data. Today, with technology, with AI, you may take maybe 10% of the time, unlike before. In fact, I know audit firms, they employ they used to employ, retired English professors, retired journalists or retired or those from journalists, they want to change the job to write the reports so that they write in a good English or the language where it is to be given, or in they give the presentation notes. So today you don't need all that. You can get even the presentation done through your chat GPT. I don't know how far it will be good. I can tell you this presentation is not by chat GPT. Okay, tech-enabled wisdom, because technology applies across whatever you do. Tech is something which you can't ignore and survive. To Internet of Things will make our life much more easier. So sustainability and legacy, legacy comes out as I mentioned. So these are the, now let's get to this is again, it's a slide which changing, specific to changing world, and you will find that these are most soft skills. It is comprised of soft skills. And soft skills are today's hard skills. Hard skill mean, your technical knowledge, your understanding based on your studies and all that. But soft skills come from your practice, your conscious effort to improve yourself. You enhance your competence. So soft skills has become today's hard skill. The differentiating between one who knows a lot and one who succeeds is mainly due to the soft differentiation, is due to their different ability to for soft skills. So one, start with curiosity. Curiosity, make connections, understand others better, remove biases. They call it conscious bias, unconscious bias. It gets into us, but you need to have that curiosity to understand without bias. It can be put into practice by practicing a lot. You imbibe that attributes in yourself. So try to do that. Know the context in which you operate and make sure that you are trusted, you are trustworthy. Okay, you by your action, by what you say, by your deeds, by your, even as a role model, you have that trustworthiness. Second one is creativity and innovation. These goes hand in hand. Without creativity, there is no innovation. No, innovation happens with creativity only. And unless there is no room for innovation, the creativity will not be applied. You have that skill, you have that soft skills of creativity, of finding something. In fact, I think it is in Google, I'm not 100% sure, they give a monthly, a day or two, only for the employees to stay back home and explore on something which they think can be improved. That's they are allowing to be creative, and they teach you a process how your creativity can be put into in a framework and brought to the organization to check whether it can be. And different stages they get even rewards when you send the creative suggestions. So these go hand in hand, and this is creativity is something which we can practice and learn. Resilience. So, okay, this is a word again used a lot in last 3 to 4 years. Resilience simple means bounce back. Okay, bounce back during uncertainties and ambiguities. So it move forward. You move forward. You may get stuck, but you should be able to move forward. You should be, for that you should be able to articulate effectively, be positive about your outcome, and you should trust yourself before you trust others. So resilience happens with these three things. One is ability to bounce back, ability to move forward, ability to don't get stuck, and ability to articulate effectively, remain positive in a tougher situation like uncertainty and ambiguity, and create and have trusting yourself first before you trust others. risk taking and decision making. Risk taking again is a huge it's a huge thing for every individual. I used to tell my ex-boss, my chairman, and used to tell them, what is risk? What is more risk than not? What is more risk? He said, I used to tell them the risk here is not taking any risk. So you have to take risk in life. No risk, no reward. So, but whether you're taking calculated risk, whether you have a methodology to check that your risk have certain certain ways to mitigate or certain transfer mechanism, all that. So the decision making goes with the risk taking. The risk can be, you can be risk averse and decision can be accordingly, or you take willing to be based on, again, to use a technical jargon, what is your risk appetite? If you know your risk appetite, you will be able to take decision according based on that. So it's a leap of faith to act and amid uncertainty. Leap of faith means you jump, you come to know what is it, what's happening. So you're leap of. Then thought leadership. This is one of my most liked word. Thought leadership is industry. You see, I used to be called. I had a great opportunity to represent the state of Qatar in the global assembly of thought leaders for internal audit profession. So almost 15 years. They meet twice a year and in different parts of the world. And we are up close to 80 people or 80 to 100 people from 100 different countries. So, and we come out and discuss what is needed for the next level and what can be done. So it's great to opportunity to have a thought leader, become a thought leader, understand how you can be a thought leader. It can be you can be a thought leader in even in specific, like in a say hospitality industry, in a medical industry. You can be in a thought leader in something which you do, or transfer pricing. Something that like you can do some internal audit practice and all that. So now that we will go to another again. I talked about short supply. This thing came to my mind about a year or 2 years ago when we had a concern of in a part of the world where I was working, we had a concern of getting good leader, good managerial people as a leaders in the organization. So we wanted to get them from particularly who know certain language, who understand the culture. We want to hit the road, want them to hit the road running. Okay, then I made why we are having such a tough time. We made that study, and some of my findings are here. One thing we found is people are not ambitious enough. I'm content with the role I have. Why to take risk? I'm not ambitious. If I get, say, 100,000 or 200,000 rupees a month, or 500,000 or 5 lakhs of rupees or whatever, that's good enough. I don't want to get, say, 1 crore or 10 million or something. I don't want to get that sort of money. So I'm not ambitious. So I'm content with that I have. So I will not look for getting into more leadership. So second thing is fear of fortified work-life balance. Fortified means you're protected. You don't want to go out of your country. Because again, going out of country, you don't know what's in store, whether I'll be able to do what I'm doing now. So I'll go from my very comfort. So I don't want to go from my comfort zone in which I'm living. Whether I will make new friends, whether I'll be able to adjust to the climate there, whether I'll be able to get the food I want. So these are all, something which blocks our people from moving, and they want to stay where they are, and they don't want to grow into taking more risk, of course, it's also because many of the people who, not many, some of the people who take risk have ended up in doing worse than what they were before, because then they enter into something what we call it a midlife crisis. don't have necessary expertise. This is also another fear. People say, oh, I don't have that knowledge. I don't know, for example, IFRS to the extent of I can practice if I had to go to UK or if I had to go to Europe or if I even go to even the Middle East because they practice IFRS. So I don't know that IFRS in terms of large scale application in a complex situation. I don't have that strong theoretical knowledge. So that's the people have. I don't think organization will give me the opportunity. Why bother? This is also very pessimistic view, which says that I don't think organization will give me the opportunity. Why bother? So people people think that they don't have that opportunity, and they may not get that opportunity to why to struggle, why to get a more qualification, why to work hard to make me a specialist in the field I am. All that is stuff that make people, make people not take. So now, so what is it? Another, these are sort of people which give me a minute. Give me a minute to. Okay. Then second, people as let's go to shortage of leaders, seat selection. This is a very interesting concept. This is propagated by Jim Collins. They say that his analogy is with a bus. You get into bus. He said you have to fill up the bus, but the bus, it's what is important, it which seat in a leadership bus. It's not clear. He calls it as an analogy of a leadership bus. In leadership bus, each seat is reserved. Each seat is meant for somebody, and somebody technically competent. But each seat has you have to pick up the right people to get the right seat, to put it into the right seat. So these if you don't do, whatever you try to do, this it will not work. Getting the right people to right seats is a very critical thing. And what is then second thing about this seat selection is many people today have technical pros. That means you're technically good. You can be a good engineer, you can be a good auditor, but you're not developed the leadership ability. So that's also one of the reasons why they call it leadership design is deficient to create more leaders. We are still shortage of cookie cutter approach. This is also a very interesting concept. It thinks that in the leadership development process, people think that you be like me. I'm a very successful leader. So the best of you is like best of me. So they don't allow your co-worker or your subordinate to develop by themselves. They think that no, you don't need to learn from leadership. You just follow me. I'm the role model. It's good to say that, but leave others also an opportunity to grow in their own the way. So this guy cookie cutter, like you are cookie cutter, the cookies are made, and with a cutter, it can become like a star, it can become like a moon, it can become like a flower or anything. Or so the cookie cutter approach of training leadership has created not so good leaders. They lacked confidence because situation changed. So the second thing is that another one is teaching leadership as a skill set rather than mindset. What is the difference? So if you're teaching as a skill set, what do you say? Okay, in case you encounter a situation, this is how you respond. For example, there is a labor union is coming out with demand. This is how you deal with them. You tell them how to respond rather than asking them to find a solution based on the situation. So again, so the mindset is when they make the decision based on their data, their understanding, their ability to comprehend the complexities from their own knowledge expertise. So make leadership training as a mindset, not just as a skill set. If X happens, Y is the solution, not like that. Leadership is as a destination rather than a journey. Oh, it's a journey of growth, development, lifelong quest. People think that, okay, so even my own company where I reached director equivalent, I was a chief audit executive where we had about 20,000 people, about 20 odd different companies in oil and gas business vertical. The next level was meant only for the nationals of that country. That does that mean that at that particular when I reach that stage, I should languish? I don't learn incrementally. I don't become a better manager. No, that's what we should all have that journey in mind. At least like what is I mentioned earlier, you about in Microsoft, Satya Nadella said, you have planned for 20 a decade, but learn in results in a quarter. So we should have that plan. So now barriers to leadership. What are the barriers for leadership? This is something which um, I mentioned outdated ideas about leadership. What does it mean? Outdated ideas about leadership. What are the outdated ideas? Even if you put it, outdated ideas include something like you're saying, mm, mm, say, I'm not able to get a right example. Uh, that means we have been doing like this. This was, for example, somebody is starting a business and they started with, say, travel agency, then they moved into the food chain, they moved into later into this thing. But he will never, even if travel agency started making laws because now people book online. They will never leave. No, no, I started my business with travel agency. I'll stick on to it. That is what gave me bread and butter and it gave me that impetus. I'll not leave it. These are, based on sometime our cultural affiliation to or affiliation, more than affiliation, cultural, adherence to something saying that these are lacks of fortune, that you gave me a fortune, impetus, and I should continue with it. So these are some things, a crude example of outdated ideas of leadership. There can be many, and for want of time, I'll just leave it with that. And digital disruption, you all know what digital disruption has happened. So when there is a digital disruption happen, many people think that, oh, no, no, I'm not on top of that digital disruption. So probably I'm not uh, ready to get into any leadership position unless I get. So what time pace you need? In fact, I saw many people in the West, they take sabbatical, purposeful. They'll be in a job, good job. Suddenly they say, no, no, 1 year, I don't want to do anything. I want to think about my future. I want to prepare myself for the next level. So I don't say it is bad, but they are preparing themselves for something like, but whether they can catch up or not, something else may come during that 1 year or when you take a sabbatical, 1 or 2 years. So these are all changing today. The world changed that way. Then flatter the organization today. Also, when I was reading now, like one of the things which I mentioned about Facebook or Meta is that he wanted to improve the efficiency. He created a more flatter organization. He removed the hierarchy in the organization. He said that brought out more efficiency, that became more cost effective. And it in IT, you always find even a junior person becoming a team leader when there are much senior people on the team. And of course, no better place to know than in India, because all of you worked in India for a long time. And I'm currently in Chennai. Every second person I meet is an IT professional. And they are doing something very great job in the technical skills are concerned, and the type of job they're doing is extremely, extremely, uh, you can become extremely happy. I become extremely happy and proud that fellow people in country people are doing so much. And including many of them are with the CA background, as a CS. They get into technology and they do some of the best brains in the technology in creating many of these uh, many of the apps applications for the future. So then misaligned system for measuring and rewarding work performance. This is also intense competition for top talent and higher turnover. So this is also fourth one, the competition is a reality. You can't run away from it. But the more higher the position, the higher more intense is the competition, and higher is the turnover. People go leave. Oh, now I won't survive here in this. They try to leave and find better place there. But they are happy to be a say CEO of a smaller company than being CEO of a larger company because the position matters to them. But whether they are doing right or wrong depends on it depends on the situation where they get into. So misaligned systems for measuring and rewarding work. This is also very important. People should get measured, their performance should be measured and they should be rewarded. The place where I worked in the Middle East, my chairman used to say, we should pay before the sweat dries. So that means before the people go home, make sure that we pay. An amazing concept, it's based out of their own cultural background. They said we should not pay. So we should always pay the last work, monthly salaries will be paid on the last weekend of every month. Okay, it goes in a cycle of 4 weeks, but we get, psychologically, we are happy that we are paying salary before almost a week before, even 2 days before the month end itself. So the people are extremely happy to work. Okay, leadership development is low. How you say that leadership development is low? So, people like to recruit rather than grow on leaders. The situation globally is internal growing of leaders has become lesser and lesser. People want the leaders to come to their organization, hit the road running, make drastic changes, bring the results. So there's no patience. In fact, I saw an advertisement of, I think, Samsung mobiles. It says, impatience is virtue. Can you believe? Impatience is what we said from our own ethos of Hindu philosophy and ethos is that patience is virtue. I mean, it should be, I've just said Hindu ethos, it can be any Indian ethos can be. So it says that patience is virtue, but I saw an advertisement in Indian TV which says impatience with a song of, I don't remember the product, I don't want to demean them by any way, but there was some music which says impatience is virtue. So people have become that way. Investing in one's own talent is again, one of the invest in yourself, something which all of us should do. Suppose we are earning 1 million a year in rupees, we should set apart at least 5% of that for attending conferences, reading some books, going for some additional qualification or anything. So investing in yourself is one of the best thing you can do. Never stop that. Never stop that. You won't know how much you can learn. You don't need to go to a seminar or seminar or some training or a coaching by from some of the world reputed people travel to US or travel to UK, but you can attend in your own backyard, something which is available in your town or even virtual now. Today, everything is in your reach. So investing in your own talent, invest in yourself and develop your own talent. Millionaires matter. It's a reality. Millionaires are taking over. No, they are not. They are becoming as leaders of today. But many of them are not really prepared. They need to be prepared, and it's on us. It's all of us. Sometimes there is a job insecurity. Job insecurity is not employer's responsibility. Your job insecurity is your responsibility. That means if you feel your job insecurity, that means you're not drawn to that job. That you become though of course we all say that there is nothing called indispensability with anyone, but still you have to create a position in such a way with your expertise and knowledge as chartered accountants or otherwise that your job matters. You contribute. No, if you contribute more than what you paid for, it is investing in yourself. That means you become better. You're prepared for the next level. So when you also you have to develop others. When you develop others, your subordinate only, you can grow up. You can go and see the many times. When I always say as an auditor, when I talk to in my audit committee, I tell them, my aim is to the managers to think like auditor, but act like managers. A manager's operational manager act like. So if they think like auditor, what will you do? They will all ask. That was definitely that will be a question. I said, no, if they act like an auditor, I can do something much more that can be contributing much more. Like I can look into strategies, I can look into business development, I can look into protection of assets, enhancement of assets, or diversification of businesses, all that matter. So it is our job to get the millennials ready for then organizational culture where learning is valued. This is, in fact, I've seen even in India, particularly in India, that many youngsters, when I see them and I meet them in different forums, they're looking at the jobs where their learning is valued and their learning is being acknowledged. The learning is being rewarded. They're learning because they learn. They ask them, even they're sitting in a board and they ask them to give a presentation to board. Recently, I met somebody who said, no, they came to me for because he had to make a presentation to audit committee on what are the roles and responsibility and how the audit committee can function better. He came to me to get some tips and take my whatever 10 cents of whatever I know. Of course, I've been in the leadership CA for 25 years. So whatever I know, to say, I like, because his organization his board asked them, or audit committee is a committee of the board, asked him to teach his board committee, audit committee, what they can expect and how they can fulfill their responsibility as audit committee members. I'm not saying that they don't know, but they wanted a third party as a chief audit executive to tell them what they should be looking. In fact, the International Internal Audit Standard, which has come up in 2024, specifically says to discuss how they can. It is no more conformance oriented, like no more compliance oriented. It is also the new standard talks about performance orientation. So unless there is a conformance and performance, you're not complying with standards. So let's think, what is the thing? What are the other leadership development, some of the things which we think we know everything. But here, again, I am fancied one phrase which says that you don't know as much as you think you know. Because today's, the knowledge is in fingertips. You take a ChatGPT or you have a mobile with you and you can check and cross-check your knowledge. Something which I say now, somebody may be verifying. So I have to be aware that whatever I say makes sense. Whatever I say is up to date with what is happening around the world. So think we know everything is a big blockade to your growth. So the leadership development start with zero, or start with understanding that you don't know as much as you think you know. Let uncomfortable situation fester. Okay. You be uncomfortable. You don't shy away from uncomfortable. No, I don't want to be in this committee. Suppose your company wants to put you in a committee where cost optimization. You don't want to. I don't want to face union. I don't want to face my fellow employees. I don't want to create a situation where they think that I'm part of something which is not employee friendly. So no, let the uncomfortable situation come and you find out what you can learn out of it, how you can contribute, apply your mind, apply your knowledge in the situations. So then focus on short-term wins at the expense of long-term results. This is also one leadership development. Many people, particularly when they get into the new leadership position, they say, okay, immediately I want to show some change. Immediately I want to. This happens even when as like I was part of a steering committee for new. We were implementing Oracle uh, application, Oracle Oracle one. So in that, there is something like quick wins. So you want to implement something and show that quick wins and how far it is, the short-term wins is affecting the long-term results, has to be looked at properly. Short-term wins are good. You say that, okay, you are immediately bringing out some benefits, but look at that benefit versus what cost you're doing it, if at all. Stuck in old ways of working, I mentioned Gabe earlier. So lack of trust for team. Okay, when you a new person, you go as a new person to as a financial controller or a finance director or an audit director in a place. First thing you may do is, okay, whether those people are whether your subordinate are still affiliated to somebody else or still will give 100% cooperation. These sort of things comes to your mind. You have to trust the team. You have to work with the team. So this is something which you cannot. So this is part of your leadership development. So the 5 reasons why you should start build your leadership skills is in the next one. Is it why you should do your career enhancement, your change management. Again, I said, even in Oracle, I think change management plays an important role. People to accept what people will do. What most of the employees like to do is they want, even when they implement a tier 1 solution, they want the screen to look like whatever they were using before. Whatever legacy package they were using before. So people try to do a lot of customization to get the forms in the same way, the screens in the same manner, like that. Then once you do customization, you end up paying much more cost for not only customization, you end up paying more money for the technology. So then self-reflection, that's another thing which is part of the leadership development, self-reflection, knowing where you stand as of now. So the 2 things which I will take after this will be about leadership development, that is your leadership style, how you can look at leadership style, and second one, the leadership ladder. So there you can get about self-reflection, where you stand and where you can go. Effective teamwork, we mentioned earlier, one of the things is lack of trust in a team. So are you giving the team confidence that you are the real leader? You look after them well. You do things as a team, not for taking a credit by yourself and leaving the team, away when it comes to a credit. And conflict management. These are, see, the team building workshop, or your uh, uh, team building workshop and team strategies workshop is something every leader, aspiring leader should do. Second is something which conflict arises. They call it team dynamics. If 3 of us are team, a 4th person joins, the dynamics of the team changes because his leadership style may be different, his upbringing may be different, he's from where he's coming, he comes with that baggage, it can change the whole team dynamics. So the conflict management you should understand how to check on where you stand, what is your current position to grow, or what are the gaps in the leadership or your technology things, or both core technical hard skills and soft skills. So then change management, you have to work with the change management. Then career advancement, so these are the leadership things which you do. Now, are you ready for? I mentioned this. This is something which all of you must be looking at very carefully. If you want, anyway, I see I maybe sharing you the presentation, I am okay if I say share you the presentation, but I want you to note down if you find something relatable to you. Okay. So if you find something relatable to you, note down so that you don't forget. You work on it. From right now, from today, if you don't postpone it even for tomorrow, don't postpone it even for end of the day. Try to do it immediately after this presentation. Ask a question if you like to know something. So, how do you know when you are ready to lead? What are the things? Now, because I'm a positive person, I start with when you're ready to lead, what are the criteria? Then we'll say how you can decide you're not ready to lead for certain reasons. So, first thing is you already liked and respected by the organization where you are working, or your clients, or your uh, uh, or in any sphere where you're working. You're liked and respected. You're responsible. People see you as responsible. People see you as ethically strong. People see you as a professional. So if you find that you are in that sphere, you are liked, you're respected, people find you responsible, people find you ethically correct, people find you the professionalism in you, you are ready. That's the first criteria. Second, you're excited to forge merger, stronger relationship, and look for opportunities to collaborate. We've talked about, when we said why leaders are short supply, people are not willing to take risks. People are not willing to take that extra step. Here, what you're saying, you're excited to forge stronger relationship and look for opportunity to collaborate. It's important. That means, you're willing to take the risk. You're willing to move forward. You're willing to work harder. You're willing to probably dent a little bit on your work-life balance at that particular point of time, of course, with the consent of your immediate family. Or again, the priority depends on family and all that. So see how you are in that. And some people are, inherently little bit uh, passive. They are not active and forward. So let's say learn from leaders. It's very important skill. What you have to learn from leaders. See, today, even people who want to say medicine. I have one of my niece wanted to go for medical studies in UK, and she spent almost 3 months shadowing doctors uh, in a large hospital. And she shadowed, then she decided, okay, whether she even decided which line she should specialize. So when you are in a leadership position, you learn from your senior leaders, your seniors, what they do, how they tackle the situation. What are the things that you can learn and imbibe for you? Which you can keep it with you for when such situation comes in your life. How will you react? How will you, foresee that situation? So learn from leader. Know how the organization works. This is one complaint we all hear as accountants or auditors. Invariably, your CEO or COO or some other strategy people, they invariably tell, no, you don't know the business. You know accounts. You are expert in your account. You are expert in your audit. You are expert in what you say risk management. You are expert in the governance portion. But you don't know about how we make money, how the organization achieve its vision, how we are going through a for a budget with what is the key objectives to achieve. So this is where sometimes how we compete in marketplace. It's who are our competitors, what are their strengths, where we stand compared to that, what is our core competency. So this is something which many times I hear in my almost 35 years as a chartered accountant, people saying that, oh, you don't know. Even when I do a QIP, quality assurance practice uh, checking for internal audit, one of the things mandated there is that get from your customers, or your customer meaning your audit clients, what they feel about your reports. So it is important that we understand, we work on. So now most important thing, why? When you know you are not ready, you care about title, you care about position, you care about getting a respect for your seat, but not the role itself. You become finance director, your first care should be your role. The position, whether it's a finance director or as a title, your position in the organization hierarchy, tier 2 or tier 3, whatever it is, whether you have to gain respect. You can't demand respect. So this is the first thing. If you are in any of these, you have to be careful that you need to change and focus on your role. Second, hard to speak up when you feel strongly about something, even if organization would benefit. Many people, of course, it is a reality that any organization, there will be politics. When there are people, there will be politics. When there are people, there will be, always someone expecting more than others and someone happy with others, someone not so happy with others. So there will be such division among people. But when you have an opportunity to speak for something, you have to do it. Again, I like one phrase so much. If you don't stand for something you believe, you fail for everything. If you don't stand for something you believe firmly, you will fail, you will fall for everything. So you learn to stand for what you believe, what you think is good for the organization. Otherwise, you fall for everything else. Oh, no, no. If I tell this thing, that fellow will stop my increment, he will stop. No. If you see something, you have to say something. So it is very important to do that. If you fall into the category, no doubt and see that no, from today I'll change myself. Think that others are generally lazy, sneaky, and entitled. No, don't think that way. Others, they may talk about you the same way. So others are generally lazy, sneaky, entitled. It's very uncharitable comments. You have to grow out of that. For directing rather than doing to ease workload, thus depriving oneself of training and relationship. So what many people do, even I have somebody I can't name or I can't even give a hint who he is. He spent last 5-6 years, he's a partner in an audit firm, by bringing good people in the firm and he himself doing something else. Okay, after some time, they are also partners. He brought those partners who are, what specialists, either vertical specialists or some aspect specialist in some aspects. But he remained far from the mainstream activity, dealing with clients, understanding clients' requirement, understanding the laws, understanding the regulatory things, understand the understand the people who runs the company, all that. So now, one fine day, many of them left him because they formed themselves a group and a company. So it's a reality, it's a real situation. So this is where if you are also in such a situation, you have to look at it, whether you are growing with the organization, you are also doing, hands-on what's happening. You believe in yourself that you can do as good a job as others, or at least you can sort of more than oversight. You have to today have to have, uh, you know, uh, stewardship role. This is something which I recently even propagated. We have to move from oversight role to stewardship. Stewardship means custodianship, custodian of something which people. So these are the things. So I just want to mention, when you talk so much about good things, we should also know what are the history's worst business leaders. I know some of you may be interested to know. Somebody asked me very interesting question. One child was asking, in school, why we should learn history. It's gone. It's an old one. What is that we had to do with history? How will it help me in my life? So the teacher, gave a very interesting answer. She said, unless you know always what is right, Unless you know what is wrong, you will never learn what the differentiation between what is right and wrong. Even people say in epics, like Ramayana or Mahabharata, there are good characters, there are bad characters. In an epic, which is, some religions are based on that, there are bad characters and good characters. Why? Why should there be a bad character at all? It's also to differentiate from good from bad. So I'm just giving some example, Carly Fiorina she was CEO of HP. She antagonized. Of course, she has created. She created. She created. You know, I think it is with another IT company. She created a good joint venture, and she brought out or understanding with that. I'm not remembering which company, but then so that way HP's turnover went many-fold. But she she didn't know she did never listen to anyone to know what is right and wrong. She never knew what is right and wrong, so she went to the wrong side. She didn't listen to anyone. See, see, good friends. It is only good friends who will tell what is wrong with you. Everyone tell you what is right. They like to make you happy, but only good friends and good mentors, good coaches tell you where you can improve, what is wrong with you. So it is important that you take that from. So Whitemore from Kodak, everybody, he failed to see the digital world. In fact, Kodak was, I mean, that story is repeated, I think, millions of times, I mean, millions of forums. I won't say much about it. He lacked vision. What I'm trying to say is, first one I said, listen to those around you. They will speak truth, understand, able to differentiate truth. Then the lack of vision, world changes, you have to be with the world. Then John Scutley of PepsiCo. In fact, he called it was Apple CEO who called him to Apple from PepsiCo. Said, don't spend your life selling sugar water. Come and change the world. So Apple, he invited to Apple, but he fell out with Steve Jobs. Here, the knowledge here is let not emotion. He fell out with Steve Jobs because he lacked real technical knowledge because he came from a PepsiCo and came to where Steve Jobs was trying to build a new computer, new system. So the emotions should not emotion lead you to making poor decisions. Here, he was emotionally still linked to PepsiCo. Ken Lay of Enron. I have to say this because every auditor should know his corporate culture focused on increasing revenue because he was getting a good portion of the revenue. So here the learning is lack of ethics. Why these people failed is because of all this. Now go to the hardcore learning for leadership style. Okay, types of leadership. See, I was also a region advisor for Toastmasters for the looking after the entire Middle East. About something like 5,000 odd Toastmasters. It comes under that Middle East as a region. So one of the first things we have been told is to learn the leadership style. Learn the leadership style of the leaders in different countries. That region consists of something like 30, 40 countries. So understand those, leadership style. So what are the 6 leadership? This is again, based on one of the well-known author, Daniel Goleman. He has, he has he has written a book called The New Leaders, and that is a contribution he made to the world, not for his time. That's every HR person today reads this book. So he talks about 6 leadership style. One is commanding, which is do what I tell you. It's a commanding leadership. Being visionary, come with me. No, it's taking it with you. Affiliative means people come first. I told you, people comes first, not the profit. Profit comes after people. So what do you think? Democratic. What do you think? You take a poll. You take and who's based on the majority opinion. You take a decision. Something. Pace setting. Do as I do now. Like I said, cookie cutter approach. no, you be like me, something like that. Coaching, try this. Coaching tells you try this. They are also, we'll go into detail, Here is, use 6 styles, and I typically the best, most effective leaders according to one or more of the 6 distinct approaches. One cannot be falling into one. Now, a person can fall into one as a commanding, he can move into visionary, he can be affiliative. So people could change. So it is important that we take a test. It's available online. It's probably free to download and test and see where you stand. So, but you don't, what you stand today based on probably the position you are doing or the work or position you are in and the work you're doing. But you may need another leadership style when you have to move up. See, this is what I talked about. Try. These are the 6 Goldman's. They put it as a standard in the world. So now let's go into specific one. First is parenting. Commanding means demands immediate compliance. Okay, like in a military, normally commanding is required. They said, don't think when I tell, just do it. So that's commanding is that sort of thing. So what I say. Visionaries mobilize people towards a vision. Come with me, I told you. It creates affiliatives, creates harmony and builds an emotional bonds. People come first. Democratic forges consensus through participation. Pace setting sets high standards for performance. Like we mentioned Meta's case, we put high standards for performance. Coaching, it develops people for the future. Coaching is one of the critical things. I know a person who is into coaching. It's a big business. I found that he spent his entire life on coaching, and learning new things so that he can coach a lot of things. So now let's see what's the next one. The style in the phrase, understanding emotional intelligence, understanding underlying emotional intelligence under each of these. In commanding is drive to achieve, initiative, self-control. So the emotional intelligence competence is drive to achieve. Your commanding is good if you have a huge drive to achieve, like I said, in a military or situation, or even in you're launching a satellite or something. And self-control, you need to have the self-control when you're commanding. Visionary, the emotional self-confidence. You have to be visionary, means you need to have self-confidence in what you say, because you're going to change the organization. You're going to change the way people look at the things. You should have empathy as an important emotional skill, because again, you have to relate to people. You should be change catalyst. You should be change catalyst, and you should be change catalyst, and collaboration, team leadership, communications. That's for democratic. We need collaborations, team leadership, communication. Then pace setting. Pace setting is consensus, conscientiousness, drive to achieve, and initiative. These are the emotional factor when you become pace setting. That is somebody who can say that. He said, okay, I have conscientiousness to that. I believe in what I do. I have a huge drive to achieve. I have initiative to make a change, like that. And then coaching is developing others, empathy, self-awareness, giving them empathy, understanding with empathy, self-awareness. So now, when which style works best? In a crisis, to kickstart a turnaround. Commanding is to kickstart a turnaround, or with a problem with employees. With a problem with employees. When changes require, when visionary is when changes, when commanding is when the style works best. I want to emphasize this: when the commanding as a style works best in a crisis, you have to act, you have to probably take ownership, you have to make the change, otherwise it could impair something very big. It can be, in our risk, we say that one life loss can, possibility of risk of one life is highest. It will be place it as the highest risk, instead of even against $1 million lost. So because human life is so crisis, so in a crisis like that, you have to be commanding. A kickstart, a turnaround, again, you need. Turnaround will not come easy. People like to be in their comfort zones. And or with problem employees, with problem employees, you have to deal with them. You can't postpone it. Then the more you postpone, the more problems you inherit. More problems you have to manage. When changes require the visionary, when changes require a new vision or when a clear direction is needed, then visionary style works the best. New vision is required, and when a visionary, there is a sometimes the organization goes for transformation. So transformation starts with the mission vision of the organization. There they say that what is that you are doing is can be improved or need to be changed drastically or we need to be supplemented with something. Where is the gap in your achieving the business objectives or a vision? So these are needs visionary people as a leaders. So think whether you fall. Again, it depends on where you fall, where you are now. What is your leadership style you need? Affiliate you to heal the rifts in a team. Okay, when a company is facing, for example, labor unrest. You have to be affiliative to heal the rifts in the team or to motivate people during stressful circumstances. This is needed even in things like somebody face a huge taxation burden. Then they or even they lose some asset or they are in the market or they are in the share market or something like that. They lose a lot of money. They lose a lot of respect. So you have to again heal them to bring them back into stream. So democratic, to build a buy-in consensus, to get an input from valuable employees. So you have to be democratic. This is where, again, I mentioned one of my favorite thing is, are you in a table? Are you in a table where key decisions are made? So if you are not in a table as an accountant or as a auditor, whatever you are, or a consultant, or you are a risk manager, or you're a compliance person, or you are an IT person, are you getting a seat at the table where key decisions are made? So there, many times we have to pull the chair. We have to pull the chair to get into the seat at the table. So make sure that you get into a democratic situation where you make the difference by getting in that seat at the table. The pace setting, again, where it works the best is to get the quick results from a highly motivated and competent team. Pace setting, okay, you'll say that you're confident, but people will take their own time because many of them will see what if it doesn't happen. It can happen. No, every decision could wrong. Any decision can go wrong. So there is nothing called infallibility. Nobody can say that I'm infallible. Okay, you may have a history of success, continuous success, or hardly any failure, but that doesn't make anyone infallible ever. That sort of situation. You have to work hard to get that. Then coaching, when is coaching help? To help an employee improve performance or develop long-term strength. This is, I think I found a lot recently in Indian context. It's a very healthy thing. This means, again, some of the we find something which is lacking in leadership development is because of the people lack of confidence in getting into that leadership. So coaching help them. Coaching help them to understand the gap well and find out how the gap can be bridged with a purposeful intervention and purposeful activity. Coaching is not, again, one time attending a coaching session. You have to probably enroll with a coach and run through probably 3 to 6 months, depending on how much time the coach is willing to spend and how much time you are willing to spend and what is your stake in getting that coaching done, at what cost it is, all that. But these are all different leadership styles and where you feature, you can be a coaching type of leadership where you coach the people, your subordinate, your peers, and all that. So overall impact, in commanding, he said in a crisis, we already covered this, but I'm just going to do, this is just to sum up, in a crisis to kickstart the turnaround or problem to employ, that's commanding. Is it a good one? To overall impact on the climate, positive or negative, is not considered as a positive skill to have or positive leadership style to have. Visionary, visionary again, and changes requires a new vision. When a clear direction is needed, it's a good positive climb, positive leadership style. Affiliative, again, to heal rifts in a team or to motivate people during stressful circumstances. Is it affiliative? I want you to think about it. That's why I'm pausing. Affiliative is a good leadership skill, style. Yes, affiliative also. Now, democratic pace setting, coaching, all these are good. Democratic is good. Pace setting probably not really a positive one. It's because you do as I do now, curtails the creativity, probably becomes a little bit of authoritarian, commanding. So pace setting need to be, depends on the situation, like what is more appropriate, where it works, not really otherwise. Coaching, as I mentioned, it's a good style to help employees to improve performance or develop long-term strength. So this is your leadership style. Check for yourself where you fall. Use that application where you can download and see for yourself. Check with others also who, even it with family, you can try this and see where you stand with your family members. All that you can. It's a good leader. So test your leadership. Why you should test your leadership? Which leadership style do you use most often? Because as I mentioned earlier, when you put it, you find the score. Okay, you find the score under each category because nobody will, it's rarely that somebody will get all 100% mark in one leadership style. You will have something 10% somewhere, 5% somewhere, 20% somewhere, 40% somewhere. So you find 40% could be the highest. So you find out where you stand. Find and sit with those who share your leadership style. Find and sit with those who share your leadership style. Together you make that and find out, do they really fall under that? Read about positive negatives of your leadership style. Share examples of when you have used this style positively and negatively. This is how you can confirm and test your leadership style, what you derive based on unbiased, non-judgmental methodology of going through a scoring pattern. So this is one thing which I will tell, knowing oneself is very critical. Knowing oneself, everything starts with knowing oneself. To know your leadership also starts with knowing oneself. Take a moment to think about and make a list of your attitude to various work situations. So I in a leader, you find out the I in a leader. When you're giving a presentation, now I'm giving a presentation, I have to think how much I was relating myself to the presentation. How much did I say that I did that because you should do like? So where did I say in giving a presentation? What was my I factor? What percentage of I factor? Or am I general? See, you cannot see very general. When it is too general, it becomes uninteresting. You can't be too specific. Too specific also becomes a little bit, very big, little bit sort of not so interesting, not so believable. One is not interesting, one is become not so believable. So you have to be portion of generalistic and portion of, that specific. So where are you in that? Attending a meeting, where do you stand? You always ask the tough question. You always want to answer. You always say, I know better than others. You always push your agenda before anyone. So see, where are you? I as a leader, the I in the leader, writing a report. What is the tone of the report? So many times when we write reports, particularly an audit report, not the statutory audit or an internal audit report, governance report, or risk report, it creates a tone to the reader. The reader can make out from the tone whether you are, what you mean, whether the tone is negative, positive, whether the tone is whether phone is effective, believable. So you create a tone in whatever you write. You're writing a report, you have to ensure the tone. You are not there to show your knowledge or so your power. It should be for the benefit of the organization or brand for the client you're dealing with. Your annual performance review, where is that, if at all? Many of you must be doing your own practice. I don't know whether it will fall under the performance review. Difficult colleague you have to work with. Look at where are you in that? Where is an I in you? Other team members. So these are the I attitudes. So the next part is the most interesting part. And I'm sure it is more specific than general. And it is general enough to be interesting, specific enough to be relatable, or general enough to be relatable and specific enough to be interesting. So depending on where you stand, depending on where you stand. So let's go to the next part of leadership development, which is ladder of leadership. I'll take about 15 minutes and then I will I'll talk about few things about, to me, what is excellence in leadership. Then we leave the last 10 minutes for question answers. So if you have question answers, it's a reminder that you can put it in your chat and probably it will come to me to answer, and I'll try to do my best to give you a possible solution or possible sharing of my knowledge, expertise, wherever it's possible. Okay, what is the need for ladder of leadership? How to level up using the ladder of how to level up. That is the need. How you can level up is by knowing which ladder you stand in leadership. So it's a behavioral competency model for driving the highest level of performance at organizational leadership levels. Is to get the highest level performance under each leadership level. And giving an opportunity for a person to move up. So in addition to technical skills, academic background, professional expertise acquired, an individual's natural behavioral tendencies are key elements to achieving success at work. I think it goes without saying, technical sense are critical. Your academic background, matters the most, because otherwise you hit a ceiling, glass ceiling. It comes as a glass ceiling. You will not be able to grow more than that. Your professional experience is acquired, because expertise is knowing your subject and knowing how to apply your subject knowledge in practical situation. That's a professional experience. How you apply your knowledge in practical situation is where professional experience gets acquired. And that professional experience becomes an expertise. And behavioral tendencies, again, like leadership styles, are the key elements to achieving success at work. So let's get into, this is a general leadership style, business-oriented competency model. Solving problems, how you can solve problem. I'm not going to go into details of that. So broadly, it's the 4 things which matters, or 5 things that matters, is getting work done. Today the dependability matters a lot. When your board appoints you in a particular position, they want you to be dependable 100%. They want to take that problem out of their head and give it to you to manage it, and manage well, and manage according to the vision of the organization. So getting work done is an important competency. Solving problem is an important competency, because there's rarely a situation where you don't face problems. So working with others is a critical thing. Again, your ability to work with others. If you're not able to work with others, many people leave job only because of this competency. They are not able to adjust with the people. They wanted a set of people like what they like to have. That's not a reality. Then motivational drivers. You have to motivate yourself. You have to drive. What are your drivers of motivation? You have to motivate your people. And self-management, acting on principle, focusing on self-reflection, independent action, managing your stress, very critical. Nowadays I hear a lot of in the news, people at a much younger age, suffer from major ill health situation because they are stressed out at work. Probably they stressed out so much that they, in young age, they live a life of, like 50 years life in about 30 years because they're stressed throughout, because of the pressures of the situations. So these are the uh, how do you look at what is getting things done, what is working with others? It's not anything. It's not any like earth-breaking ideas. It's simple statements which you can yourself put it down. Well, now let's see what is the leadership competency level 1. Okay, here there are three things. This sort of a blue color is these competencies are required in every level. So we'll talk about 3 competency levels. First, then middle, and then C-suite and higher senior management. So 3, we'll go to the 3 levels. So the first intermediate level managers, we start with manager because I'm predominantly talking to a chartered accountant. He gets into managerial shoes once invariably after their professional education, one of the toughest education, I think, program in India. So the first and intermediate level managers, they need to have thriving in chaos and also leading decisively. These are 2 things every level will have. They should learn this. It's the first thing as competency level 1 in the first ladder itself. Then bridging competency is a green to darken. Here, lighter green means, it's intermediate, first level, reasoning with logic, persevering through adversity. Persevering means continuously engaging through adversity. If there is an adversity, they don't leave. They persevere and make sure that adversity is met with and solved. Acting on principles, again, very critical for that. The competency needed for level 1 itself on principle. Don't get into the wrong side. It's very important. Thinking conceptually. Conceptual thinking starts from the managerial level itself. So these are the first thing, and the competency unique to each level. At the first level, what are the unique things? The second level is when you the ones where bridging competency between one level to the next is the green one. So the green ones you have to engage, or you have to sort of cultivate or nurture to get to move to the next level. So that's why I put it in green level. The blue level is mandatory. It's mandatory across the level. Green level is this, and this particular level 1, we should have facilitating ability, communicating with clarity, assuming full accountability. So these are specific for green level. Level 2, let's look at level 2. I thought that the green ones, the blue ones remain same. The competency for going next level, again, are many. But the one thing which is the senior level at senior directors or vice presidents, managing stress. That is exclusive. You get into the stress situation when you reach this level. Of course, you talked about acting in principle. These are come from the previous level. You trained in that and you got into this level. Now you have to apply that training, what you got, apply the experience you have, apply that knowledge you learned, and all that skills you develop comes in the lighter green. The darker green is you're moving out to the next level, maintaining high energy levels. When you reach the top level C-suite, you that energy should percolate down across till the bottom, and maximizing effort through hard work, inspiring others. These are the 3 main things, for getting into the next level. Now C level, what are they're getting into from the previous one is the competency, pursuing competitive challenges, maximizing profitability, reflecting creatively and intuitively, initiating action independently, exercise. These are the ones you learn from the second level. Now you come to third level, it is become mandatory. It has to be the first level of learning. And then when you have to go to the next level, the highest level, point of level, maintaining high energy level, maximum use, which you said, maximizing effort through hard work, inspiring others. This goes to the next level. Now let's see that. First level, we said facilitating. When you have to go to the senior next level, you have to learn inspiring others, maintaining high energy, and managing stress. This is where transitioning happens from first level to next level. You transition when you achieve that these three things which is in the green. So managing stress is the new thing which you learn also there. Now from the second level to senior level, you've gone to senior level. The one which you again learned is become here. Here, the one which you go, the next one is also here. Managing stress comes here from the last one. And you learn this reasoning with logic and data, perseverance, acting on principle, thinking conceptually. All this comes to the senior level. And C-suite comes again from the previous one. Initiating action, reflecting creatively, intuitively. So C level is senior executive, C-suite, and presidents. So these are the three levels. So you have to move from the ground level, the level 1, which is a manager onward, then C level. And this transitioning happen only if you learn those behavioral competency, one which you already need in that position or in that level, plus you have to prepare for the next level. Unless you develop that behavioral competency, you will not transition to the next level. So you have to consciously put an effort, make an effort, identify what need to be done to get that and reach there. So that competency, then only you will be prepared. As you said, are you ready for leadership? Same way, are you ready for leadership escalation? So you will be ready only if you consciously make an effort to move to the next level. So understand what are the behavioral competency, work on it, and move it. Now steps in the ladder. Okay, these ladders, this is again self-leadership. It starts with ladder. That means you build credibility. Build team leadership, motivated team that deliver results. This again first rank. The foundation level is self-leadership. Are you ready for leadership? Then comes team leadership, first rank, motivated teams and deliver results, team delivery. Then the third level is the middle rank is operational leadership, motivated team that deliver results. Again, like it came from team leadership itself. Then problem solving, resilience, efficiency. What is the outcome? Operational excellence. You work on operational excellence. Strategic leadership. This is where the vision, adaptability, governance mindset. What is the outcome? Growth and transformation. Strategic leadership is a critical portion when you reach upper ring. Then legacy leadership. Legacy leadership is traits of stewardship, as I mentioned earlier, cultural intelligence that understand the culture of different cultures, mentoring. What is the outcome? You create a lasting legacy beyond tenure. So these are steps, and I will just tell what you need to, because I'm conscious of the time. We are left with 15 minutes. Change focus. Tips to climb the ladder. Change focus. Understand what is the bigger and better view. A bigger view, better view. Change focus when you want to move. Shift away from doer mentality. You have to, because it's a human nature. We tend to do lower level of work than what we are appointed for, or what your roles are expected. We don't delegate. We don't create that vision. We don't strategize. We don't create that communication ability. So this is, I think, in general, I'm saying, but we need to consciously work from problem solving to opportunity seeking. You have to differentiate. Are you still a problem solving manager, or are you an opportunity seeking person? So you have to create inspiration, ideas, opportunities, and adaptability when you have to move from problem solving to opportunity. So then embrace the lead by example, meaning a vital component of success. You have to play that role model irrespective of the level you are in, from manager onwards. So you have to lead by example. We call it in audit parlance, tone at the top. Tone at the top means everything will go down from the top. The top itself, somebody perceives as not honest, they are not conscious of the environment. They're not, conscious of the employee welfare. So it will go down to the last level. So the tone at the top or lead by example is important. Set yourself up for success. This is transition, it's a very important sentence here. Transition from individual contributor to manager needs training in new skills, training in new perspectives, and a new mindset. So your transition from an individual contributor first level to a manager needs training in new skills. We mentioned various skills. New perspective, you should acquire new perspective, and you should obtain the new mindset. So you move from skill set to mindset when you achieve that level of this thing. Now, I'll just say what John Maxwell, he's one of the authority in leadership for years together now. And his leadership is taught across any leadership coaching platform. And he gives, the 5 levels. I don't want to talk more on this. He talks about positional leadership, that people follow leaders. Then permission leadership, encourage people to follow willingly and through trust. Then production leader leverages success to inspire and attract high performance. People development leadership, pinnacle leadership. Pinnacle leadership, people follow the leaders who exemplify core values. These are the people I mentioned about 6 leaders, top leaders. They are the ones who achieve pinnacle leadership. That's why we spoke about them. We found out that why they are who they are today. Because they made the difference in all these levels. They didn't become those leaders overnight. They worked their way up. So now, essential tip for be intentional about your leadership journey, leverage mentorship to accelerate your growth, be purposeful in acquiring knowledge and wisdom, embrace new knowledge, be patient and trust the process, be open to feedback, build confidence in decision making and influence, develop vision and strategy. These are the essential tips for aspiring leaders. For many of you who aspire to be leaders, these 8 things, which it's a summary of what I already said. Intentional about your leadership journey, mentorship to acquire the growth, purposeful in knowledge and wisdom, consciously you work, I said, embrace new challenges, don't be shy away from challenges to practice leadership, be patient and trust the process. You can't be overnight leaders, you have to go through a certain process. Be open to feedback. Don't be, oh, he's giving you a wrong feedback. Oh, he's against me. He's somebody else. He's politically motivated. He's judgmental. Don't do that. Open to feedback. What you take is up to you. So build confidence in decision making and influence. You had to have that confidence. Okay, I've made so much. My decisions were right. That gives you a huge confidence. I can tell you from my own experience, the more success you create, many times your owners or your bosses tend to feel that you are you are a error-free person, or you can be blindly trusted. To the extent that some of them I have seen that if you say turn right, people will turn right without even thinking about it, because they can trust you about it. They have become trusted leaders. They become trusted or confident people, trusted advisors. We all can aspire to be one. Develop a vision and strategic mindset. Now, what you got here won't get you up there. See, people are in different levels of strength. You don't just see that I reached here, I will go up, climb up. Don't ever think. The ladder provides a clear roadmap for understanding the behaviors necessary for success from first level manager to CEO. So you have to understand. Don't wait for something to happen by itself. Oh, my fate is like that. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen. No, you can't wait for it. You have to do your work. So I remember, there is a case, somebody said, their boat was sinking. There was also a priest there. So people said, people are taking out the water from the boat. And they stopped in between because there was a hole in the boat. So they asked the priest, can I stop now just pumping water and we all start praying with you? He said, no, you should pump and pray. So you have to do your work and at the same time pray and believe in the God and do the good things that can happen. So this is my last question. I check with my facilitator whether we have time for this or we have enough questions to answer in 10 minutes. You are there?
So you can continue till 5 more minutes.
Sorry, you have questions or I can go ahead? Do we have more questions? Okay, so I'll stop in 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, leadership, no, it's a journey. This is what I said to you. And this is something, storm chasers. You can be storm chasers mean, again, try to find out from yourself. Then the way storm chasers are people who go behind the storm, like tornadoes. And they, for three reasons, they want courage, they give the reporting, they find out the climatic condition, they enjoy that. So if your real leaders are storm chasers, they have courage, they have passion, they go after innovation. Then lessons from time. All of us would have gone through a bad time, but learn, clear the bad memories, retain lessons. Like COVID has given us a lot of lessons. The word like agile, responsive, resilient, all that came. How did you overcome those situations, become what you are today? Tell success story, lessons from times. Third, learn by doing. Good leaders are great doers. Getting things done is important. At the same time, do yourself. Learn to do yourself also, but getting things done is important. Being productive. Your time, people always ask, what are your time? What are you doing? What is, all of us are busy, but what are you busy at is important. Learn and improve. Then the lead to lead. Let others, help other people to lead, and also create them self-awareness. Use your ears, listen to them more than telling them. Celebrate success. It's important. Somebody achieves something, celebrate. What is leader? No one does anything great by themselves. You need a team. You need people to support. Every role is an opportunity. Take it as be inhabited. Don't ever get inhabited by ego. Become uninhibited by ego. So don't give to the power of dark side. Avoid temptation. Always go through the right path. So excellence is not a gift, but skill that takes practice. We do not act rightly because we are excellent. In fact, we achieve excellence by acting rightly. It's a Plato's quote, very perfect for what I said so far. And I give credit, of course, credit to me. My short profile is there, and also some of the sources from there, like John Maxwell, Lindsay Thompson, Toastmasters, all that I'm giving credit. And I leave you with a thought, continuous effort, no strength or intelligence is the key to unlocking our potential. So unlock your potential, be the people you want to be, climb the leadership, see you as successful leaders. I stop here for the last 5 minutes to answer your questions. And now, why do we tend to almost always relate wealth with leadership? What about leadership in social spheres of work? And very nice questions. I talked about business leadership. The whole presentation is related to business leadership. You can have leadership like Mahatma Gandhi was a leader who brought country, the independence. He was leader in his own right. But what we are talking is uh, in terms of business leadership. And a bad company can never do good to the community, cannot do good to a country, cannot good to people. Because if they are not making money, they cannot bring prosperity around. Unless there is prosperity, there will not be any growth. So it's linked. So when we talked about somebody who's successful, one of the benchmark, I didn't say that is the benchmark. I said vision and other thing is much bigger benchmark. That gave them a legacy. Money alone. In fact, even when you talked about Bill Gates Foundation has more money than him. He contributed. So these are that's why we connect the money as one of the parameters, and I put the money along with others. Let me go to the next question. Please elaborate on the relationship between ethics and good leadership. Of course, it's a very good question. Ethics is ethics, it bridges everything. If you're not, if you're an unethical leader, I think it is, I mean, you will not stand to leave a legacy. No, because if you can say somebody, I don't want to give any crude example to for anyone to be. We talked about Enron founder Ken Lay. Why people quote him only for the wrong reasons. He started big, but in between he left the ethic. He lost his ethical foundations, and he's wrong. He's known for wrong reason. He became infamous. One of the largest corporate scandals. He doomed many other people. I met his the secretary, secretary who worked with him, and she's now a big author, and she's a speaker. And she gave all the whatever the wrong thing he was doing. She was alerting him. He was not willing to listen. So ethics plays an important role in leadership, but you should know what is your stand on ethical standing on what are the principles. It can be on environment, it can be on money, it can be on principles that you stand, like honesty or support system like that, or people, empathy. DEI, for example, today is mandatory. Diversity, equity, inclusion. So all these are part of ethics. So now third question, for want of time, I'm just speeding up. The next question is about please touch upon the need to be global citizen to be a great leader without any account of, yeah. Touch upon the need to be a global citizen to be a great leader. Again, great leader and global citizen. And okay, how great you want to be? No, you can be great in your country. You can be great in your city. You can be great in your, in your state, or you can be great globally. So sometimes these opportunities uh, cannot be. There cannot be any foresight to look at the opportunity, but global citizens, if you want to be global citizen, there are some parameters to look at it. I'd like you to study and come to how you can be a global citizen. There are benchmarks. What do you call it, global citizen? Like, being in the business, in terms of in the business. Now, next is Indian culture. In Indian culture and ethos, the elders teach the younger generation the philosophy of being content with what the gods have blessed us with. Is this a serious impediment to nurturing leadership skills and talent among our people? Again, a very nice question. The question is, I read it, sorry, not so loud. I don't know you people can see it or not. Indian culture is the elders teach us to be happy with what you have, content with. So we don't really pursue for more. I don't know, content with what you have is, again, I remember now a quote which says, content with what you have, at the same time, pursue for what you want. So what you want becomes your vision. And what you want, again, you can't leave it to the God saying, oh, God has given me only this much. God has given me only this opportunity. No, many of us are creators. We can create to where place we want. So I don't think you can compare with leave it to God and don't do anything. I think that I gave a story also. You have to pump and pray like that. You have to do your job at the same time pray for God. So next question: when we invest in the talent, then they left the organization after gaining skills. What the solution of this? It's a very good question again. This question, in fact, some of my bosses also asked, because in a place I work in Middle East, it's mostly 80% are expatriates. So they don't invest in expatriates. I mean, they do invest, but they look at grooming their own people, nationals. So they invariably ask, why are we not doing it? I know last question probably I'll take. It's a very important question. See, you have an option. You can have a good employees or you can have mediocre employees. If you employ mediocre people, you have mediocre organization. If you have good employees, you become better organization, and the organization will sustain itself. So just because people may leave, you cannot be filling with all mediocre people. You have to fill with good people or give them opportunity. Let them survive. If they move ahead for better opportunity, it's good for the world, good for the company also. They may support you from there also. So I think, shall I close it now with the question answers? I see there are three more. One more question, last question. Okay, that's good. Do you believe in last one? It is last, I think. Do you believe having an ear to the ground and staying connected with people at bottom of the organization ladder is an important trait for a good leader? Do you believe having an ear to the ground and staying connected with people? Staying connected is critical, but to what level you have to connect depends on uh, the business you are in and the volume of business and how much you can take. You cannot take everything. You need to know what you need to know. You don't need to know everything of everyone. You have to create a circle of influence, the circle of leadership where you can make an impact, rather than being there around. When you do that circle of influence and circle of connected impact, that's good enough. It is good enough. It will percolate. The tone at the top will percolate downwards. I think I am done with the question answers. I don't see any more. So thank you all of you for patient listening mm, and is any other questions try to you can try to reach me out. I'm in LinkedIn. Okay.
All the questions from the participants and you had a great interaction with the participants, knowing and clearing all their doubts. So thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. And on behalf of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, I am privileged to have the presence of yourself to the committee and sharing your knowledge. I also thank Professional Skill Enrichment Committee and all the stakeholders behind holding this webcast and making it a grand success. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving your wonderful knowledge to us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure is mine, and I always look forward to seeing more successful CAs and climbing the leadership and be on the top. Good luck to all of you. God bless. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
PSC committee.